Asian giant hornet. The Asian giant hornet has reached fame thanks to its nickname online, the murder hornet. While the species' stings can be quite painful, it's estimated the hornets kill less than 40 people a year in countries across Asia. For perspective, 89 people in the US died in 2017 from native hornets, wasps and bees, per the CDC. The hornets are native to the Asian seaboard, stretching from Russia's far east to the tropics. However, in 2019 and 2020 sightings of these murder hornets began appearing in the Pacific Northwest, raising fears they could decimate local bee populations due to their signature decapitation of large honeybee populations with their large mandibles. The hornets then carry the thorax from their victims to feed their young. Because a single murder hornet can kill up to 40 honeybees a minute, it only takes a few hornets to completely decimate an entire colony of honeybees in short order. On October 23, the first U.S. murder hornet nest was found near Blaine, Washington, further raising fears the species could become invasive and threaten bee populations that are integral to pollinating many crops. Incredible Asian giant hornet facts. Murder hornets. The Asian giant hornet has attracted significant attention online thanks to its nickname of the murder hornet. Why the dramatic nickname? For one, the species can grow quite large, with queens reaching more than 2 inches in length. Voracious predators. In addition to their large size, giant hornets received their murder hornet nickname from their voracious predatory habits. A single Asian giant hornet can kill more than 40 bees per minute by rapidly using its large mandibles to decapitate bee after bee. But Asian bees have evolved to face this threat. With Asian bees continually facing off against murder hornets, they've evolved a unique adaptation to fight hornets invading their nest. Bees swarm around the hornets and vibrate their flight muscles, raising their temperature to 117 degrees. Bees can withstand a temperature of 118 degrees, while hornets can only support internal temperatures of 115 degrees. They use this very slight difference to effectively cook murder hornets alive. Asian giant hornet classification and evolution. The Asian giant hornet is the largest species of hornet in the world, with some queens reaching more than 5 centimeters in length. They are found throughout Eastern Asia, particularly in Japan, where they are commonly known as the giant sparrow bee. It is not to be confused with the more placid Asian hornet which arrived in France in 2005 and, although similar in appearance to the Asian giant hornet, the Asian hornet is thought to be no more dangerous than the European hornet. The Asian giant hornet was first classified in 1852 by a British entomologist called Frederick Smith, who worked in the zoology department of the British Museum. He later became the president of the Entomological Society of London from 1862 to 1863. Asian giant hornet anatomy and appearance. This wasp species is larger than any others, with average Asian giant hornets growing to between 2.7 centimeters and 4.5 centimeters in length, with a wingspan of around 7 centimeters. The queens can grow to 5.5 centimeters but are similar in appearance to the worker hornets, with an orange head, black mandibles and a black and golden body. The Asian giant hornet has 2 sets of eyes, one compound and one ocelli, both of which are brown in color along with their legs. Unlike other species of wasp, and indeed bees, the stinger of the Asian giant hornet is not barbed and therefore remains attached to its body once used. This means that Asian giant hornets are able to sting their victims repeatedly, injecting a complex venom that is known to contain 8 different chemicals. Murder hornet nickname. The Asian giant hornet has received widespread media attention since it was first spotted in the United States in 2019. Most of this coverage refers to the hornets as murder hornets. The first use of this name came from Japan in 2008. Its use exploded after a New York Times profile on the hornets on May 2020 adopted the murder hornet moniker. While Asian giant hornets have stingers that can be quite painful to humans, they kill very few people across Asia every year. Instead, the greatest threat of this invasive species is to bee populations across the United States. Asian giant hornet distribution and habitat. The Asian giant hornet is found throughout Eastern Asia in Korea, Taiwan, China, Indochina, Nepal, India and Sri Lanka, but they are most commonly found in the mountains of Japan. They are found inhabiting higher altitude forests in both temperate and tropical areas, where there is plenty of food and suitable places to build a nest. The nest is founded by a fertilized female, known as the queen, who selects a suitably sheltered site such as the hollow trunk of a tree, where she begins to build herself a nest out of chewed-up bark. Wasp nests contain a series of single cells which together create the well-known honeycomb effect. Asian giant hornet behavior and lifestyle. Asian giant hornets are known for their fearless and extremely aggressive attitudes, and they seem to favor one animal in particular, the honeybee. Asian giant hornets like to feed the honeybee larvae to their own young and are known to completely destroy whole beehives in the process. Rather than using their stinger, Asian giant hornets kill the guarding bees using their strong mandibles with extreme force and agility. One hornet is said to be able to tear up to 40 honeybees in half every minute just to get at what it wants, which once again leads to its murder hornet nickname. Asian giant hornets are sociable insects, working together within the colony to forage for food, growing the size of the nest and caring for the young. They are known as workers, but they do not reproduce, as that is the job of the queen. Asian giant hornet reproduction and life cycles. Once having built her nest in the spring, the fertilized queen lays a single egg in each cell which hatch within a week. Asian giant hornet larvae undergo a 5-stage changing process known as metamorphosis, in order to get to their adult form. This takes around 14 days, by which point the hive has its first generation of workers that ensure that the colony as a whole is well maintained. By the late summer, the population of the colony is at its peak with around 700 workers, most of which are female. The queen then begins to produce fertilized, female, and non-fertilized, male, eggs. The males leave the hive once they have reached their adult form and usually die once mated. The workers and current queens tend to die out in the autumn, leaving the young fertilized queens to survive the winter and begin the process again the next spring. Asian giant hornet diet and prey. The Asian giant hornet is a dominant predator within its environment, mainly hunting other insects, particularly bees. Asian giant hornets are also commonly known to kill larger insects such as praying mantises and even other wasps and hornets. Adult Asian giant hornets are unable to digest solid proteins and instead only eat the fluids from their victims. They are also known to feed their catch to their larvae, particularly the honeybee larvae, in the form of a regurgitated paste. The larvae then secrete a clear liquid which the adults consume, and is thought to give them a bit of an energy boost. Asian giant hornets predominantly use their mandibles rather than their powerful stingers in order to secure their prey. Asian giant hornet predators and threats. Due to the fact that the Asian giant hornet is an apex predator within its environment, it has no real natural predators within its native habitats. Humans pose the biggest threat to the world's largest wasp, mainly as they are consumed as part of normal diets in the areas where they are found. This is particularly common in the mountains of Japan, where the Asian giant hornet populations are in the highest abundance. Despite its size and bad temper, numbers of the Asian giant hornet are declining in certain areas. This is mainly due to habitat loss in the form of deforestation. Honeybees in Eastern Asia are also starting to develop their own defense against the hornets, trapping them in their nest until it becomes too hot for this giant wasp and it dies. Asian giant hornet interesting facts and features. The stinger of the Asian giant hornet is 1/4 inch long, and because it has no barb, the Asian giant hornet is able to sting its victims multiple times. The venom injected by the stinger is incredibly potent and contains 8 different chemicals, each with a specific purpose. These range from tissue degeneration and breathing difficulties, to making the sting more painful and even attracting other hornets to the victim. The Asian giant hornet is a relentless hunter, and only a few are said to be able to completely wipe out a 30,000+ honeybee colony in a couple of hours. The saliva produced by the larva of the Asian giant hornet is said to give them their renowned energy and stamina when consumed on a regular basis. When chasing their prey, they have been reported traveling distances of up to 60 miles, at a top speed of 25 miles per hour.